It happened on February the 19th. When I got the call, it was around 11:30 p.m. at night that Desmond was shot. And then the second call came probably around 12, saying that he's at the General Hospital. Said I was all confused. I was devastated. I couldn't believe this was happening. There were so many doubts in my mind. I didn't know what to do. We were all in the room, everybody crying and hoping for the best. But then it came the time when an officer came out and said that Desmond is gone. When I went in there, he had a tube in his mouth and he was covered up to his neck. And I started to cry, and the officer hugged me, and I asked if I could kiss him. And I kissed him on his forehead. And it still hurts very badly unto this day. And the family went through a hard year when Desmond passed, because it was so sudden. Never expected it, so.
Desmond Mingo was well known to the Hamilton police by the time he was 13 years old. Even at this young age, he was involved in petty crimes. He was drawn into a gang because of friends and a desire to belong. In the winter of 2002, at only 19 years of age, Desmond became a victim of his own lifestyle. He was shot in the heart and died in a dark alley. His murder marked the beginning of a sharp increase in gang-related homicides that have plagued the city of Hamilton since that time. It also marked the beginning of a dramatic rise in the presence of street gangs and associated violence on our city streets.
This particular night, Desmond was involved in an illegal activity with gang members from out of town. The two other gang members were from Toronto, and as the illegal activity was taking place in the basement of the house, it went bad, and Desmond was shot by the rival gang members. Desmond was able to stumble out the back of the house, and he died in the alley right behind the home.
We were cheated of our young nephew, and a baby was cheated of a young dad.
So, what is a gang?
Generally, we refer to a gang as three or more people that get together, and their purpose is to generate money. Being a member of a gang, they make their incomes through criminal activity. So you are going to have to bring in funds to the group and to yourself. You've got to pay people off. So as you get older, your level of violence, your need for more money is all escalates. And as a result, so does your crime.
I don't know, everything started to stable out for a while until I hit like middle school, grade 6, grade 7. I just really started going on my own, doing my own thing.
And then there were certain people that I surrounded myself with, and when I seen the lifestyle and how much money these people were making, how much money you could make from the drugs that we were doing, it drawn me to it. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be a gangster, I guess you could say, when I was younger, right?
If you're bringing in money for the crew, and you're a loyal person, you don't mess anybody around, and it's mostly ties in with drugs.
Seeing people outside my doorstep and on TV, how they're making money in the gang lifestyle, not knowing what the real consequences of a gang lifestyle were, but just seeing the money in the cars and everything made you really want to just go out there and do it, because it looks like something easy to do until you're actually in it.
Very few gangs are successful at generating a lot of money. Most gangs are always trying to find a way to make a few bucks, but the gang lifestyle will not make you rich.
They try to drive nice cars. They try to show that they actually do have money, that they do have a lot of girlfriends. If they've got to try that hard, they are scraping by. Very rarely do we find gang members that have been successful. having a lot of like real money behind them. It's all show, and that is to impress other people, to get more people into the gang.
There is a lot of intimidation, assaults, criminal acts, and weapons. Over the past 10 years, as the gang culture has taken root in Hamilton, our shootings and our level of violence has changed because of the gang culture. And 50% of shootings in the city are gang-related, drug-related, or both. On average, Hamilton experiences 2 gang-related murders or attempt murders every year.
Being a member of a gang, you respond to violence with violence, and it escalates. And sometimes at some of our clubs in Hamilton, there'll be a simple comment made, and that will escalate to a shoving match, right? And maybe the next time you're out, it'll escalate to maybe somebody showing the butt of a handgun in their belt, right? And it just keeps going, and you don't have any choice on this. You are representing your gang. You are representing and protecting the other people in your group, and you are expected to respond to that.
Not being able to walk down the street whenever I wanted, getting jumped by people that I didn't even know because of something else that one of my boys did.
It is it's a very difficult lifestyle being a gang member. You are in constant fear of retaliation. If a gang member is living at home, that family, they are in fear of home invasions, people crashing through their home to either look for the drugs.
My mom was on her way to the store, and she pulled out, and people that recognized her car knew she was my mom, and I was selling drugs in that area. And my mom got rushed saying, tell Elliot he can't sell in this area no more. If we catch him around here, worse is going to happen.
Every time that you leave your house or go out somewhere, you're going to have to look over your shoulder. You may get into a situation with wrong people that you can get out of that situation. Your loved ones and your family and everybody close to you won't look at you the same. You lose a lot of respect when you think you're gaining it.
Gang lifestyle, you'll get either shot, killed, or beat up, so.
Every day, Hamilton police are arresting gang members and removing guns from the streets.
As we evolved, we learned about the gangs, and we attacked them as a criminal organization, investigating them, disrupting their criminal operations in the city.
I missed a lot of Christmases. I missed my birthday a few times from going to jail, spending my days in jail. I'd have to say I've lost at least 3 years of my life from the gang life, just from going to jail consistently.
I've just been dealing with, a lot of cops coming to my house, brothers going in and out of jail or staying in for a long time, since I was a little kid.
As time went on, I seen how important, like I said before, I don't want to be in jail for the rest of my life. And the little things, come March 18th this year, I've been on probation for 9 years.
Gang members think that no one talks to the police, that there is a code of silence. The truth is, the police know who the gang members are, and often when they get into trouble, the first thing they do is talk to the police. The only way is not being afraid to speak up.
One of the myths to do with the gang culture, that you do not talk to the police, you do not talk about the criminal activity that the gang is involved with. The reality is, gang members do talk. And we receive a lot of information, and they do come on side, they do help the police department, and now they've been arrested, and now they realize just how important their family was to them, and get back, and now it's time to start changing.
The catch is, once you are involved with a gang and their criminal activities, it is very hard to leave. Sometimes you're not allowed to leave.
Getting in is the easiest part. It's simple. Getting out now is a whole lot of struggles, because when you're in a gang, you're not supposed to leave the gang. It's like a code, a whole gang code about once you're in, you stay in. And if you do want out, they're gonna make it hell for you to get out.
Where I'm from, once you get in, it's very hard to get out. So I always had dreams when I had doubts with my buddies, and I started figuring out that I shouldn't be hanging out with these guys. I always had dreams, because I couldn't think of ways to get out without getting a beating or something, so I always had dreams of different ways of getting out.
I've had a friend of mine that's recently passed away. He was a good kid. He was trying to get away from the gangs, and just a block away from his home, he's just trying to walk home, do his thing, and
just a group of kids end up taking his life in a second.
The people that were there for you while you were in a gang most likely won't be there for you anymore.
I bet the idea that you think that being a member of a gang is your safest choice, that sucks. And you know, I really wish that those young men and young women could really talk to somebody who they trust, who they felt safe with, and communicate that idea, because it's really not the best decision for you. And I feel like as you look back later on, when those girls and boys and guys and girls kind of grow up, they'll look back on those choices and probably wish that they had had somebody to talk to so that they wouldn't have taken that path.
If you're confused about what to do, or you're involved with a group of kids you're not sure about, or even a gang, you need to find that positive person or thing in your life. It might be a teacher, a coach, a friend. You might be good at sports or art or computers. You need to find those things, and then I dare you to be you. Think about how you will spend your time. What will you do after school, in the evenings, or on weekends? Get involved in an activity that interests you, or try something you've always thought you'd like to do. For example, working out, playing sports, music, drawing or painting, or building things. Join an after-school program, community program, or cultural club so you are not alone.
My name is Sarah Taylor, and I grew up in Hamilton. Lived there actually until I was 19, 20, and I kind of lived all over in Hamilton. I grew up downtown, so I went to Lake Avenue School for a bit, and then I moved onto the mountain. I went to Highview Middle School, and then I went to Sherwood High School. And then I actually attended McMaster University after that. So I was all over Hamilton. I was never really running with a bad crowd, but you know, there were lots of opportunities for that. And I feel like I really tried to surround myself with a group of positive people. And even when I wasn't finding that positivity at home necessarily, I went and sought it. I made sure that I was around a group of people who were doing things that were good, and they were going places, and they could always take care of themselves, and it was safe. That was really important to me.
How you guys doing? My name is John Williams. I play for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I'm a local boy, and football has afforded me some pretty great things in my life. You know, I always wanted to be a football player because my dad was a football player. So from a young age, you know, I always dreamt about following his footsteps and playing for the Hamilton Tiger Cats just like he did. One thing that's so great about being a football player is that it allowed me to go to school. Education was always big in my life. And being awarded an athletic scholarship, I was able to go to college and be a student athlete. And that's exactly what I was, a student first and an athlete second. Now there was a lot of my friends that got caught up in the gang life. A lot of guys that did the wrong things instead of doing the right things, like staying in school. You know, actually a lot of my teammates that I played with, a lot of their siblings got caught up in the gang life. There was a guy I played with in Toronto whose brother was actually killed in a drive-by shooting. And the way he explained it to me was his brother was always sitting out on the curb, sitting out on the street. You know, he was never really into athletics or anything positive whatsoever. He got caught up with the wrong people. And I think being in a gang, you have your foot on a banana peel and you're slipping. You're either slipping to the grave or you're slipping to prison. Remain positive. Hope is huge, you know. Remain positive, and I'll catch you on the field of life.
Hey, how you doing there? I'm Jay McQueen, and you've heard me on AM 900 CHML. I'm from Hamilton. I grew up here in a neighborhood probably very similar to yours. You know, when I was your age, I struggled with a lot of things, and I had the opportunity to make some bad decisions that would have had serious consequences in my life. Actually, the same decisions you are faced with. You know what kept me from going in a bad direction? A choice. The same choices you face.
Listen to your parents. And education. With education, you could be anything that you want to be.
I don't know what it is, but it's a feeling. There's something more for me.
Stay in school, don't do drugs, and be smart, be yourself.
All I gotta say is, you know, you just use your brain, and that's not the way to go.
My only major regrets is the bond that I've lost with my mom that can never be rebuilt because of the mistrust between us.
Hope means to me a new beginning, like a new future.
You know, in life, you really have to live with honor, and you have to honor yourself. And hurting other people or being dishonest to other people or using people or using intimidation or bullying or anything that's really negative, anything that doesn't feel good when it happens to you, obviously doesn't feel good to the other person. So I think it's really about that. It's about really honoring yourself and your truth. And there's no honor in hurting people. I think that we do want to latch onto something, whether it's positive or negative. And for me, the hardest thing about that is knowing that you're an individual and knowing that, you know, you don't have to follow the crowd. So people are doing things, you feel like you need to sort of fit in, you need to go along with what they're doing, whether that be positive or negative. But I think a lot of times it is negative, and you just kind of feel like you don't have any other options. But I was like that too, you know. I wasn't running with the negative crowd, but at the same time, there was always that pressure to do the same thing that everybody else is doing.
Desmond had a young child and wanted to get married, wanted to get out, but he couldn't get out. He couldn't escape the gang because all his friends were part of the gangs as well. He just couldn't get away from it, couldn't find that positive thing in his life, that different option. He kept getting drawn back to the gang lifestyle. He couldn't escape. What do you think Desmond would say to his child?
And his son was just 5 weeks old when he died. Last week he came and he hugged me and he said, "Grandma, I miss my dad. I wish he was here." You know, so, and that hurts.
You know, if you're at risk of being in a gang, you know somebody that's in a gang, or you're thinking of being in a gang, we at John Howard, we can help. Think.
You have what it takes to say no, and we're here to help you. The John Howard Society of Hamilton-Burlington area can work with you and help you face those challenges and those pressures in your life.
If you're not getting the support that you need from your home, you've got to find other supports, whether that's through school, through school counselors. There's a number of organizations in the city of Hamilton that can help. They will all direct you away from the gang culture, and basically they will do whatever is required to get you away from that life of crime. They will support you.
You guys actually gave me hope.
I dare you. I dare you to break the cycle.
If I can help one child, it would worth me sitting here today. And to help one kid, or even more, hopefully walk away from that lifestyle. I have his picture in my little prayer book, and every day I opened it, that's who looks at me, and I'd give him a kiss. Just hurts every time I talk about him. Yeah.